Championship and the Shell Oils Pre-83 touring cars. James Ram in his Jaguar XJS was the winner earlier on of race 1, while the Pre-83 touring car split behind the 3 Jaguars was Mike Luck in his BMW. He fought his way past David Howard, who is in a Jaguar but in the Pre-83 Championship, just to confuse things a little. Jaguar top 3 completed by Guy Connew and Colin Philpotts. The grid decided by the results of that first race, so James Ram, number 1, Guy Connew, number 44, formed the front row. Second row, 67, Colin Philpott, and number 78, Mike Luck. Third row, David Howard, 55, and number 18, Mark Lucock in his Escort. The fourth row, number 49, Mark Osborne in his Triumph Dolomite Sprint, and number 4, Simon Jeffs with the VW Golf. Row 5, a pair of Jags, 7 of Tom Lenthal, and 24, Michael Seaborn, survived an excursion at Coppice in race 1. The sixth row, 58 of Derek Pearce, and number 4, that's not Simon Jeffs again, it's Tom Robinson on row 6 of the grid. The 7th row, 67, is Stephen Primett with the Mark 1 Escort, a number clash there with Colin Philpott, hence the duplicated name. So Stephen Primett on row 7 alongside Rick Walker in 54 with his Jag. The 8th row, 139 of Chris Boone, and number 6, Anton Martin. He's at the wheel of his Ford Escort Mark 3. On the 9th row, we have got 641 Peter Millington and 296 Johnny Horsfield with his Alfa Romeo, as the cars make their way up to the grid. The 10th row, 45 David Ringham, survived a spin on the last lap of race 1. 64 Keith Evans with his Alfa Sud. The 11th row, 50 Matthew Davis with his Jag, and 81 Mark Chollerton, who broke down a couple of laps from home in race 1 with his Escort. The other retirements from race 1 lining up on the remaining rows. Row 12, we hopefully see Graham Smith with his Mark 1 Escort, ended up in the gravel in race 1. 92 Michael Atkinson with his Jaguar. The 13th row, Michael Holtz, who spun off at the chicane in race 1 in number 11 with his Jag, and 58 Derek Pearce. We lost, not Derek Pearce, it's Steve Curtin, sorry, with the Opel Ascona on row 13. The 14th row, Simon Dunford in number 5. 46 David Hickton with his new Opel. The 15th row, 28 Daniel Stewart with his XJS, and 27 of Richard Kopok in his XJS. And the final row, number 80 Gary Fletcher with the Vauxhall Firenze, and 28, the other 28, which is Al Wayman in the Chevy Camaro. That went into a smoky retirement on lap 1 of the first race. Hopefully they are all there towards the back of the grid. Waiting to see who's moving into line. I can see the white XJS of Richard Kopok at the back there. We'd normally see his father Lawrence out in this championship, but he's not out this weekend. I don't think Al Wayman's there. Not sure if Gary Fletcher's there either, so we're missing a couple of cars possibly from the back of the lineup. Green flag is waved by the marshals, and the cars will be released onto their green flag lap very shortly when the green appears from the new gantry. The new Marshals post alongside the gantry on the pit wall. It's new for 2021. Some covered accommodation for the Marshals, but thankfully the weather a little more clement here today. We must thank all our volunteer Marshals. Once again, we couldn't go racing without them. One comment on YouTube. There's the people who make these weekends possible. Big shout out to the Marshals. Well said, Brandon Mount on YouTube. Okay, here we go then. This will be a 15-minute race. And on their green flag warming up lap they go. James Ram looking for 2 out of 2. Watch for Tom Robinson, number 4. He started at the back for race 1 in the number 4 Jaguar. That's the white car on the right there, the white and dark green machine. He had problems in qualifying. Came through for 12th. We'll see how he can make his way up here. We're missing a few cars from the back of the grid after problems in race 1. Simon Dunford's XJS is not there. There's Michael Holtz, number 11. Graham Smith's Escort is there. David Hickton's Opel is there. We're missing Gary Fletcher's Vauxhall Firenze and Al Wayman's Camaro. There were one or two cars that raced over the course of the weekend in other events as well, and were entered for today, but had problems earlier in the weekend and missed today's meeting. Mark Chollerton's back out with his Escorts. Matthew Davis, Michael Atkinson. So a few non-starters. Got our camera back at McLean's as well. Will James Ram make it a double then? Or will the American-style XJS of Guy Connew pick up an overall win? He is in a different... Is he in a different class to Ram? No, they're both in Class D. It's Colin Philpott who's in Class C for the less modified cars. Class A is for road standard Jaguars, and B, C and D works up the more modification you have. In the touring cars, it's based on engine size. Class A for the bigger cars. Class C, most of the cars are in. Class D for the smaller capacity cars. Anton Martin, Keith Evans and Peter Millington, the smaller Class D cars. In Class A, we've got David Howard and Al Wayman, although he's a non-starter. Everybody else in Class C. There's Graham Smith, the very nice Mark 1 Escort. None the worse for its trip into the gravel at the old hairpin in race 1. He comes from Burton-on-Trent, so fairly local to Donington Park. James Ram from Dunmow in Essex on pole position. Guy Connew from Tadworth. 78 Mike Luck, the top pre-83 touring car driver. He's from Ulster in Warwickshire. There's Coppock moving into line at the back of the grid. Richard Coppock from Oxford. Michael Holt at the back as well, number 11. Comes from Kent in the X300 Jaguar. Green flag is waved by the marshal at the back of the grid then. It's all clear on the grid, just awaiting the all clear from the clerk of the course. The red lights now come on. When they go out, we'll be underway over 15 minutes of racing. Away we go. Pre-83 touring cars and Jaguars. Good start by Mark Lucock in the Mark 1 Escort. Not a great start by Guy Connew. He drops back. David Howard's moving up on the inside, but it is James Ram who leads the way into the first corner. Look at Lucock up the inside, side by side with Mike Luck. They duke it out for the lead of the pre-83 touring cars. Guy Connew trying to move back for the inside, but look at the lead James Ram has got already as they head down the Craner curves. Second place is Mark Lucock. The Escort has got through in a second place. A super start by number 18 Lucock, the man from Buntingford in southwest England. Everybody else files through the old hairpin already. Michael Holt making up the places in the number 11 Jaguar. Matthew Davis in his Jag has dropped to the back, but James Ram has already checked out at the front of the field, hasn't he? Ahead of Mark Lucock. Then it's Mike Luck, Guy Connew, David Howard, and Tom Lenthall's made a good start in the number 7 XJS as well. Keep an eye out for Tom Robinson, the number 4 Jaguar. See what he can get up to. There he is, side by side with Michael Seaborn, on the fringes of the top 10 at the moment. 58 there of Steve Curtin, the Opel. That's the Ascona. Next, David Hickton car. David here with his new Opel Kadett this weekend. Not sure if that's out there for this race. Through they come, through the chicane, and Tom Robinson on the tail of Stephen Primett's there. Bit of a lock-up from Richard Coppock in the 27. David Ringham in behind. No, I don't think David Hickton's Opel is there. Back of the field, number 50, Matt Davis with the Jaguar. And running wide there, Mark Lucock. Mike Luck has got through into second place, and Guy Connew trying to get through as well. That was at the chicane that Mike Luck got through into second place. And Guy Connew is through as well. So Mike Luck once again leads the pre-83 touring car split, but James Ram was already over 3 seconds clear at the end of the first lap. The Comsec Investigations boss dominating proceedings in his Jaguar. There's David Howard ahead of the number 7 of Tom Lenthall. That's the battle for 5th position. Behind them we have got Simon Jeffs in the Golf, then Mark Osborne's Triumph Dolomite Sprint, Stephen Primett in the Mark 1 Escort, and then Tom Robinson in his Jaguar XJR. Just got a glimpse of James Ram there going through Coppice. The main battle is behind him. Tom Lenthall there, a Jaguar specialist garage owner, runs Derek Pearce's car as well. Derek is already into 11th place, battling it out with Michael Seaborn in the XJ40. Mike Luck slides the BMW a little on the way into the chicane. David Howard defending from Tom Lenthall, then Jeffs, Osborne, Primett. There's Derek Pearce up the inside. Oh, thought he was going to clip the back of Stephen Primet there. He nearly missed his breaking point. Derek Pearce in the XK8, the man who raced a Jaguar Mark II for many years. Simon Jeffs losing a couple of spots there at the chicane with the Golf. Tom Robinson gets through as well. Osborne's got through, so has Primet. There is Mark Osborne from North Wales, former champion in the Triumph Dolomite. Big rivalry with Stephen Primet in this series. They were beaten by Mike Gluck, the ex-Clubman's racer, last year. Tom Robinson now ahead of Simon Jeffs in the Golf. Performed better at Silverstone. He's had a bit of a struggle today. The Richard Lloyd lookalike Akai. Got somebody going off there on the Craner curves. Who was that? It's an XJS that's gone off. I think that's Rick Walker, number 54, has spun. So he's gone into the gravel. That's end of race for him. Rick Walker running in Class B of the Jags. Swing their way through. There's Tom Lenthal attacking David Howard rather at the right-hander at Coppice. James Ram is away and clear. Second is Luck. Third is Connew in the Bob Tullius Group 44 lookalike. Then behind him is the number 18 of Mark Lucock. Then Howard and Lenthal. Then a gap back to Mark Osborne. Stephen Primet behind him. Then it's Robinson. Michael Seaborn locks up there, battling with Derek Pearce. Michael Holt's up with them. He's come through nicely from the back. Here comes Robinson. Pulls out from behind Stephen Primet, using the power of that number 4 Jaguar. Took 2 overall wins at Silverstone at the season opener, defeating James Ram. Here he comes round the outside. There's a yellow flag there at the Craner curve, so no passing there. That'll be because of Rick Walker's stranded car that spun off a lap ago. Mark Osborne at the head of this group. Took a year out of racing last year. Good to have him back. There's Michael Seaborn in the big XJ40. Here comes our leader, leading by 6.5 seconds at the end of the previous lap. 1/3 of the way through the race now, James Ram. In the Motol style livery used by Jaguar at one time in the European Touring Car Championship. And the likes of Jean-Louis Schlesser and Tom Walkinshaw race these cars. There's Richard Lloyd, the Richard Lloyd lookalike Golf of Simon Jeffs at the inside there, the Akai Hi-Fi and Video car up on the grass there. He loses out to Seaborn and charges around the outside there. Oh, is that Tom Robinson in trouble? I saw a Jag slowing up. Yes, Robinson's got a problem again. Oh dear, that's a great shame. Derek Pearce up the inside, muscling past the Golf there. There is Robinson. Don't know what the problem is, but he's slowed up. He'll be heading for the pits. Osborne from Primet, there's Seaborn, Holtz, Derek Pearce behind them in the 58. Yellow flag still out at the Craner curves because of that stranded XJS. Goes the race leader James Ram, clear of the field. Connew and Luck fighting for second place behind him. I think Guy Connew has got the Jag back through ahead of the BMW. It matters not in terms of points because they're in different championships, not just different classes, as Tom Lenthal makes a move there on David Howard into Coppice. There's a bit of damage, I think, on the right hand side of Howard's car. Whether they've had a bump somewhere, I'm not sure. Connew is up into second place. But Mike Luck still leads the pre-83s ahead of Mark Lucock and David Howard, third in the pre-83s. Jaguar was not exclusive to their own championship. They can run in other series, of course. Coming up towards half distance in this race. Into the old hairpin goes the second place fight. Mike Luck, I think, will be content to let Guy Connew pull away here. I would say now he can go after James Ram, but I don't think he's going to catch him here. Ram in dominant form. Mark Lucock trying to go after Mike Luck for the lead. Mike Luck and Mark Lucock. That's a bit of a tongue twister. There is the BMW, the ex-Clubman's sports car racer, in his very smart BMW E21. Mark Lucock, who's raced that Escort for many years, in second place in his division, 4th overall. Tom Lenthal up behind him, going nicely in the Jaguars. Ahead of David Howard now, he's 3rd of the pre-83s. So 3 cars from each championship in the top 6. Behind them we've got Mark Osborne. Here comes Tom Lenthal. He's having a go at the Escort as they come down towards Redgate. He's going to have a go on the inside here. Power of the Jag should tell, and yes, he's up into 4th overall. Best we've seen Tom Lenthal run for some time in this championship. Looking at the other class leaders in the pre-83 touring cars, well, Mike Luck is leading overall in Class C. Class A is led by David Howard. And Class D, further back for the smaller cars, that's being led by Anton Martin's Escort. He's well down overall. Escort running up, putting a wheel on the grass there, Mark Lucock. In the Jaguars, James Ram leads Class D. Tom Lenthal is leading Class C. Class B is led by Michael Seaborn, and further back Class A, well, Simon Dunford didn't take the start, so Class A was being led by David Ringham, who was the only starter in Class A, but he's pulled into the pits, so no runners in Class A for the Jags. Another car that didn't take the start, I noticed, didn't get a chance to mention it, was Colin Philpott, so problems for him. Here comes Guy Connew trying to retake Mike Luck for second place. They're having a good dice. Here's another pack further back. Mark Osborne still heading this little train. Stephen Primet. There is Michael Seaborn and Michael Holtz from the back of the grid behind them. We've lost Simon Jeffs from that pack. The Golf has dropped back. Just over 4.5 minutes of this race to go. There is number 92, that's Michael Atkinson with his, that's the ex-Simon Lewis XJ6 he's got there. That's battling further down the order with the Opal of Curtin, Steve Curtin from York in the Ascona. They're fighting for 18th place. Here comes James Ram. 4 minutes to go, so a few laps to go yet. Luck and Connew are still side by side now for second place. We got a glimpse of them briefly there. And Luck pulls ahead. There's a back marker there, Matthew Davis. So Mike Luck back up into second overall. And has Guy Connew got a problem? Yes, he's slowing down. Problems for the 44 car. I thought he was just boxed in behind the back marker there, but he's slowed up. I think he's heading for the pits, Guy Connew. What a shame. That was a great run for the number 44 car. Yes, he's into the pits. So Tom Lenthal will be up to 3rd overall now and 2nd of the Jags. And 3rd in the Jaguar Championship will now be Michael Seaborn, who's leading Class B. There goes the race leader. His main opposition has wilted because Colin Philpott didn't take the start, and now Guy Connew is out of the race. Tom Robinson we saw pull in with a problem as well early on, having come through from 12th. And so James Ram all on his own. Out in front, he was leading by over 16 seconds at the line last time through. Going up to lap Anton Martin, here with a couple of old school Fords this weekend. Race bangers for many years, the Suffolk-based driver. Preferring his non-contact racing these days. Attacking the Alfa Romeo of Johnny Horsfield there. These two battling for 19th place. They're in different classes. Anton Martin's leading Class D for the pre-83 touring cars. 2.5 minutes to go for James Ram. Fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 21.3. Here's a battle between Osborne, Seaborn, Primet and Holtz. Two Jags, a Triumph and Escort in there. It's the fight for 6th position now, up to 6th with the demise of Guy Connew. A bit of damage to the bonnet of Michael Seaborn's car, I've noticed. It's flapping a little bit. The Golf is in the next group behind them, ahead of Derek Pearce, Mark Cholerton and Richard Coppock in his XJS. Here's the fight for third place, I should say. Tom Lenthal in third, ahead of Mark Lucock and David Howard. There is Ram. Mike Luck, rather, on his own in second place now in the BMW. He's heading for a double in the pre-83 touring cars. They're coming up to start the final lap at this time, I would think. It's going to be tight, though, as they come out of the final corner. Yes, the last lap board is out. You see the yellow board from the pit wall there. Last lap for James Ram. Last lap for this man as well, Mike Luck in the BMW. A bit sideways there, the Jag coming out of Redgate. Was that a bit of showboating, or did he just clip the curb? It's coming down the Craner curves now. Here he comes. And James Ram is heading for a Donington double. He's taken many wins here over the years. He loves this circuit. And the big XJS heading for victory. And problems at Coppice, a cloud of smoke from Simon Jeffs in the Golf, I've noticed, unfortunately. There he is. Yep, the Golf is out of the race. That's expired. James Ram, I don't know if his tyres are going off here, but he's sliding all over the place. Or is there oil down from Simon Jeffs' car? Because we saw at about this point of the circuit, yeah, the Golf smoking its way home. And yeah, I think there's some oil down that may have caught out James Ram a couple of times. He's held the Jag together. Only 5 seconds left on the clock. I think it will be checkered flag this time. Yeah, we saw the last lap board go out, so it is going to be a win for the man from Essex in the Comsec Investigations Jaguar XJS out of the final corner. It's a Donington double for James Ram. 2 pole positions, 2 race victories, and fastest lap with 1:21.305. Second place is going to go to Mike Luck in the BMW, and he will win the pre-83 touring cars split sponsored by Shell Oils. He's coming out of the chicane now. There is the orange BMW. Swings across the pit wall. He takes the win just ahead of Tom Lenthal, who comes second of the Jaguars. Mark Lucock is next home in the bright blue Escort, and David Howard completes the top 5 in his Jaguar. They were fairly close behind at the finish. Here's the battle for 6th position. Is Michael Holt going to get through there on Mark Osborne? They cross the line side by side. Six did go to Osborne by 0.1 of a second ahead of Michael Holt. Just waiting for the timing screen to update there. Michael Seaborn 8th, Stephen Primet was 9th, Derek Pearce in 10th as the rest of them come home. Graham Smith there and Matt Davis. Graham Smith 13th, good finish for the Escorts. Matt Davis a lap down in 21st. But congratulations, James Ram winning by 20 seconds in the end over Mike Luck in the BMW. He wins the pre-83 touring car split. That will do wonders for his championship hopes. David Howard won his class though, and he'll be up there in the overall points. Problems for Simon Jeffs though, who was up there after the Silverstone opener. Engine trouble for him, spelling an early end to his race. We lost a couple of cars in that one. Rick Walker spun off at the Craner curves in his Jag. Tom Robinson, David Ringham and Guy Connew were all retirements, so a few big hitters in the Jaguars failing to make it home. Colin Philpott failed to start. That concludes the Shell Oils Pre-83 touring cars and the The Big Cats, they head back to their lair. The win goes to James Ram by 20 seconds over Mike Luck. He wins the Pre-83 touring cars. And Tom Lenthal in third in his Jag, winning Class C for the Jaguars as well. Mark Lucock in fourth place with the Escort. David Howard taking fifth. And then a close fight for sixth place, won just by Mark Osborne in his Triumph Dolomite Sprint. David Howard incidentally also won his class. Michael Holt seventh, ahead of Mike Seaborn. Then Primet and Pierce rounding out the top 10. Michael Seaborn won Class B for the Jaguars. 11th went to Mark Chollerton in his Escort. Richard Koppock was in 12th place. 13th was Graham Smith, good result for the Escort. 14th was Chris Boone in his Jaguar. And 15th went to Michael Atkinson. 16th place behind him was Steve Curtin, in the Opel Ascona. Then Johnny Horsfield in the Alfa Romeo. Anton Martin was a class winner in the Escort in 18th place. That's Peter Millington. And the rest of them came home with Matthew Davis, the final finisher there. We had a few retirements we've already mentioned. That concludes the action for the Jags and the Pre-83s then. Next up on track, we should see the Kumho BMW Championship. Very lively race for them earlier on. Won by Brad Sheehan at the wheel of his E46 M3, the pink machine, ahead of Jason West and Paul Wood. We saw a fair amount of incidents. We lost a few of the notable runners. James Card broke down at the start. Michael Pensavalle soon afterwards. We also lost Jasper Sapra into the gravel at the old hairpin. Now, what's going to happen at this time then? We'll have a look at the grid in a moment. Thanks for all your views today on YouTube. 700 of you currently watching. It's great to see. Plenty of you here at Donington Park as well. Great to see spectators back at Donington today. The BMW is on track very shortly. We'll give you the grid in just a moment. Okay, meanwhile, while the BMWs are getting ready in the assembly area, we can head down to Steve Jameson in Parc Ferme, and he's talking to James Ram.
Welcome down to Parc Ferme. James, that was a hell of a drive, mate. Big win. You must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the gap was, but obviously I knew there were a few quick ones behind me, so I sort of just ducked my nut really and got on with the job, and I couldn't see him anymore, so yeah, absolutely delighted. It was a less slippery experience than the first race. There was a lot less oil, so yeah, it was a much easier race from that respect.
How much have you enjoyed racing around Donington? Because you made it look very, very simple, but I know you were working that very, very hard.
Yeah, I love this place. It is a bit hot in there, as you can probably tell. But yeah, no, I do like this place. It's a fantastic circuit, and yeah, just sort of had a good day really. I think it was a shame Colin Philpott wasn't out. Obviously Tom Robinson had some problems, so from that respect, maybe a bit of a hollow victory. But I did enjoy myself.
And that's the main thing. Congratulations, mate.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's give you the grid as the BMWs line up then. Race 2 for the Kumho BMW Championship, a 20-minute race. In pole position, number 28 of Brad Sheehan, this based on the results of race 1. Jason West goes alongside him in the number 76. Row 2, 66 of Paul Wood and 89 Michael Vitulli. Row 3, 48 Darren Morgan-Owen and number 10 Ian Crisp. Then on row 4, Kevin Denwood, number 7, and 42 Andy Langley, the first of the BMW Minis. The fifth row, 53 Neil Clark and 54 Rob Allman. On row 6, 25 Trevor Ford and 50 Pete Miller. Then on row 7, 55 Gary Papworth, 26 Brian Branson. Hopefully he's repaired after his collision in race 1. On the 8th row, James Ford, number 69, he pulled into the pits during race 1, and 13, Nigel Williams, he ended up in the gravel at the chicane. Row 9, Michael Pensavalle, we saw him stop at the old hairpin after a few problems there. Alongside him, it will be Jasvir Sapra, number 40, he went into the gravel at the old hairpin. And on row 10, James Card and Max Walton should hopefully be there. James Card, repeated problems with his car. Max Walton was an early retirement in race 1. Meantime, we can hand back to Park Ferme with Steve Jameson, and he is going to be talking to Mike Luck.
Yeah, welcome back down to Park Ferme. Managed to find ourselves another race winner. This time it's Mike Luck. Mike, second overall and very much first in class. That's 2 from 2 for you today. You must be absolutely buzzing.
I am delighted with that, yes. I love this place, and car goes well here. So, yeah, all came together. No problems.
What do you like so much about Donington? I know it suits your style, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the undulations, it's the quick corners. It's got everything really, and I've raced here virtually when it opened. Yeah, not quite the first race they ever ran, but very, very, very close. So, yeah, been around here plenty times. So, yeah, really love it.
Yeah, well, another fantastic performance. That makes it 2 from 2 for you today. It's about as good as it gets today, right?
Indeed, yeah. I gave Mark Lucock a look at the start. And I think he showed me just as much mercy out of Redgate as I did in the first race to him, so that was fair dues. Took an inside line onto the straight at the top there, and managed to just squeak by him. Perfect score. We need it because there's some serious competition coming. I won't have it all my own way, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that's the way we like it. Congratulations for today, though.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Top man.